900 down, 100 more to go until I reach 1000, and this video is all out of focus for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Alright, so what you see in front of you is obviously not something you have seen before. This is yet another trash find laptop machine, and you can also tell that it's, well, kind of an interesting form factor, or maybe not. But, this is a Pentium 2 machine, and most of those type of machines were those huge, almost 2-inch thick, gray-cased satellite Pro systems that you've probably seen before, or at least heard of. I had 2 of those way back when. I didn't really have good luck with them. Both of them broke. Both of them had hard drive failures. In fact, the drive from one of them is sitting up there. And the other one is in a box that I have sitting somewhere else. But in any event, you're probably sitting at this wondering, well, what the hell? Why is this in such a small form factor? This is probably one of the early netbook concept PCs before the netbook ever really was a thing. We'll open it up and we'll take a look at what they actually call it. This is a Portégé 7020 CT, and stupid camera is deciding it doesn't want to actually focus on that. There we go. So that's what this is. You can see it's got a huge display for a netbook, but this isn't a netbook per se, but it's, well, the early concept of a netbook. There are no built-in drives of any kind. There's no Ethernet. There is one USB port, actually. No Ethernet, no real connectivity, no serial, no parallel. It does have a VGA out, or 15-pin D sub out. It does actually have USB like that. It has some random proprietary connector there, and the proprietary floppy drive connection. I have no idea what that is. What the hell is that? Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be. That one's supposed to be floppy. And it has 2 PCMCIA slots. I was not able to put in my Zircom 10100 card. I'm going to have to get another one, but I know where I can find those. And you can see the battery on the back here. That's what the battery looks like. Sticks out the back of the machine. Kind of reminiscent of these ThinkPads, except not as freaking huge as these ThinkPads. Let's watch the machine in operation. I want to take a look at all the specs and see if we can see what all the specs are. Let's turn the volume up, just because I want to do that. Let's power it up. Hear the whine of the Toshiba hard drive. To get into the BIOS, you press Escape F1. Or maybe not. Yeah, I guess it could just not work. Alright, okay, I figured out how to do it. Press and hold the escape key, and there you hear the fan turn on. And press F1. Sounds like a turbocharger. Wait until I bring out the docking station, which I do have. Alright, so we have about 128 megabytes of memory installed in this machine. And I'd assume, going from CNET, that it has a Pentium 2 366. The hard drive is a 6 gig. Let's see. Page up, page down, can change pages. So we have the hard drive. I guess I can't really change any information about that. Can I see what drive it is? I don't think I can see what drive it is. We have enhanced IDE. So let's escape, save changes, and all that whatnot. And then it's going to reboot. In touch with tomorrow. Well, I don't know how well I'm going to say we're joking about that, but not very much. They're still around. As you can see, we now have Windows 98 installed, because I've already got a Windows 95 machine. I figure, well, might as well put 98 on this, just so I now have a Windows 98 machine. I was considering, and you're probably going to laugh at me for this, but I was actually considering putting ME on here, and apparently my resolution just reset itself, but it shouldn't have. Oh, okay, now it's running a hardware detection. Because I installed all the drivers and whatnot with the docking station installed. So now I guess it's going to have to detect hardware, and, well, we'll wait for that. Alright. Let's go ahead and restart the computer. You can hear the sound works. It's not very loud, but Doesn't need to be loud. I don't know why you can't see this very well on camera. This is an active matrix display. Or at least it's or if it's not an active matrix display, it's a passive matrix display that masquerades fairly well. And here's the thing that really gets me about this machine here. I'm not sure if this is the speaker, or if those two things... Or if those two things right there are the speakers. I'm not sure if it has stereo speakers or not. Now, based on the fact that most netbooks, not all of them of course, but most netbooks have, well, they don't really have any speakers. Or they really, well, they only have one. That display looks really good. And about this background. Bubbles, which you see right there, is the best background in Windows 98 ever. And if you disagree with me, then you are wrong. Yes, this is just the stock little thing here. I wonder how loud these speakers are. They're not very loud. Speaking of the speakers, I'm not really sure what the heck is going on with these things. Because there are 3 protrusions here. There's one or 3 little grills. There's one there, there's one here, and there's one there. If we go ahead and take a look over here at my Versa, that's what the grills look like on this. That would suggest to me, can't even speak tonight, that these could potentially be the speaker ports, which would indicate that there are 2 actual stereo speakers. But then why would this be here? This looks like it could potentially have a speaker in it, if you look very carefully. I don't think the camera will be able to see it or not, but whatever. Looks like there might potentially be a speaker here, and that's a really bad place to put a speaker. Well, whatever. It's Toshiba's design. They can do whatever they want. So I really don't know if this thing has stereo speakers or not. Now, most netbooks have a single monophonic speaker. Now, of course, not all of them do. I remember my EPC 2G Surf model had 2 speakers built into the side of the that were put into the side of the display. And that's how that worked. The mouse is the typical, well, for the time period, track points, eraser head, acupoint, or let's be crude, nipple mouse. Toshiba used way back when, and a lot of other manufacturers use them. AST had them, IBM had them, of course. IBM still has them, well, Lenovo has them, I guess is what you could say now, but IBM definitely still has those as well. And you can see that it is used. There's some wear marks on the trackpad here. There's some hand salts on the keyboard. There's some wear on the keyboard. Don't know how well you can see it, but there's a shiny spot in the spacebar. But the machine still is passable. I mean, the display is not in bad shape at all. And one other thing I want to show you with Toshiba's is that when you press function, you can now use it as if there's a number pad. In fact, let me demonstrate here. If you haven't noticed, the delete key is down here, all of the other functions are here, and everything is just implemented across the keyboard. I do like the fact that there is an analog volume wheel. Let's take a look at the function, though. So, if we press function F10, that turns on scroll lock permanently, without having to press function. Function turns off scroll lock. But let's turn on the number pad. So now, if we were to press 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm pressing the number pad keys, so M, J, K, L, U, I, O. I guess P, and that brings up all the, that brings all of those up. Now, if I were to press function UIO, it would bring up UIO. Function shift UIO does the caps lock, or you could just turn on caps lock. Caps lock is not applicable with the function key, so it doesn't really matter. But then if I press function F11 again, and then press function UIO, I get 4, 5, 6. So that's how that works. It's a fairly different design. These don't work that way. If you press function numlock, you just get the keys. There's no like function turns off and unlock or all that whatever. I have not been able to get this thing online, but of course, like I said, my Zircon card doesn't work, and trying to plug it into the dock doesn't really do anything. I do have Microsoft Office installed, but that's pretty much all that I have in terms of applications that I've put on here. What's new in PowerPoint? I haven't really used it yet, so. And that template, I love some of the templates that are on here. See if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. A place like, or what? Blank. A place like that would be fancy right about now, especially since it's now December 1st officially. So let's shut this down actually, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the docking station. Ding yourself. Takes a while to shut itself off. Well, maybe not. Alright, so here is the docking station, or well, I guess you should call it a port replicator. It's kind of jacked up. I have no idea why. But while I was using it, I couldn't push it down all the way. It just kept doing weird things. I have no idea if that's the way it's supposed to operate or not. I doubt it, but there's a docking connector right there. And you can see we've got another fan. And that thing makes this... when the fan's running, this thing sounds like a turbocharger. I am not joking. Or a leaf blower or whatever. You can see my latest video for information about that. But you can see we get two much larger speakers with this docking station. On the side here we get a floppy drive. The volume control for the docking station, which is completely different. An Ethernet port, headphone, and microphone. On the back we have a line in and line out. Two USB ports. There is one USB port on the drive. I believe these are both USB 1.1, or well, they would all be. Port for the power brick. I should really unplug that because I don't really want to break it. We have keyboard and mouse for PS2 for both of those. The composite video input or video output. Wow, I am tired. Oh my gosh. D-sub output, 25-pin parallel, 9-pin serial. There is no 25-pin serial on this, but what do you expect? Kensington lock, and a CD drive. And if this looks like it was replaced, well, it was, because I did that myself. The original CD drive didn't work at all. I might still have it somewhere, but this is the drive that was out of the net server that I scrapped, and that's where I got that floppy drive from as well. So that's where that CD-ROM went. So let's go ahead and plug this in, grab our machine, and put our machine on the docking station. So let's see if I can get this to work right. It's really difficult to do one-handed. It's difficult to do with two hands, too. So you can see that, well, it's not exactly fitting down like it's supposed to. And I can still open up this door. I can't really open up this door. Well, I can, but, well, whatever. Alright, so let's go ahead. I've put the machine on the tripod, and let's go ahead and take a look at it in operation from the docking station. That says resume failure. Whatever. You can see that. You now might be able to hear the turbocharger of a fan, and we're now booting into Windows 98. Hear the speakers pop. It's gonna log in. No, it's gonna ask me to log in. Loud enough for you? Consider this. Look at how far away I am. Now is it loud enough for you? Yeah, it's every bit as obscenely loud as you think it is. And of course the sound is done, but we can obviously hear that again if we really want to. And as for what I'm going to do with this machine, I really don't know. To be perfectly honest with you. You can hear just how much of an improvement in terms of sound loudness that is. Shouldn't really be bumping these speakers that much because it's 1:30 in the morning. It can get to be just absolutely kicking loud. So there is that. Let's take a look at the screensaver that I have. Just because probably wondering what screensaver I have this machine set to. And it is the Inside Your Computer screensaver. Oops, it's in manual focus mode. That's not. You can hear that Toshiba hard drive. Sounds like a really hollow noise. There you can see the Inside Your Computer screensaver. All that this really does is just send capacitors and various things flying about. Capacitors and ICs and resistors and diodes and whatnot. And play sounds in the background, too. I used to love this as a kid. I think it's all just the same pattern. Just repeated several times. Then we see this gigantic thing. Used to have fun with myself pretending that these microchips would shred everything they come into contact with. Making sound effects at the same time. Ah, those were the days. And then that was my favorite sound out of all of them. And the microchips just eat each other. Ah, playing around with a Satellite Pro. I don't even know what the model number of that thing was. Running Windows 98. With a really loud hard drive, too. Fan used to never come on that machine. It just really does the same thing over and over again. Would love to acquire one of those huge, thick Toshibas just to relive those days. That'd be nice. Although the other thing I'm looking for is actually an XPI. But I'm not really looking to pay for them, or paying shipping for that matter, or even getting them shipped here. Let's just go ahead and shut it down, because there's not a whole heck of a lot else to do here. So, thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. I hope to see you next time. Till then, as you can see, it takes a lot longer to shut down than it did while it was off the docking base. It takes a lot longer to boot, too. I finished the power on self-test. And yes, if you're wondering, there is a stuck pixel right there. But that's the only blemish that this machine really has. The rest of it is pretty much cleanable. Except for the wear. But whatever. Hard drive still works, that's all I really care about. Come on, Windows 98, shut down. Shouldn't take this long. Shut down, damn it. I want to edit this video. Even though I don't really need to upload it for a while. My 900th video. As of right now, I think I only have 890, but or well, as of the recording of this video. I have over 900 right now videos because of private and unlisted videos. Why is this taking so long? Okay, it's never taken this long to shut down. I guess I can just sit here and wait for it, though. 2 minutes. Do something. Not the greatest keyboard in the world, just gonna throw that out there, and the mouse is would take some getting used to. It's a lot less, well, it isn't as, well, there we go, now it shut itself down. But it isn't as, what's the word? It isn't as sensitive as these ones are over these ThinkPads. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I've already signed off, like, about 3 minutes ago. It took a long time.